Offensively, where we were struggling to get shots was the first almost 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. We scored 2 points, and we were really struggling there. Other than that, our offense was fine. Look, it's the same thing. I mean, our guys are hanging in there. People had a lot to say about them in their fourth quarters after the Phoenix game, and since then it's been an entirely different story. We've shown a lot of character and a lot of fight, and that's all a good sign. It's incumbent on me and 14 players and 8 assistant coaches. We got to get the defense right. I mean, I know this is a really good offensive team, but we're just not able to count on our defense enough throughout the game, and we couldn't get key stops down the stretch either until the last one. 14.7 seconds to go. Tremendous effort. Force them to take a timeout, then get a steal and go down. I was sure we'd get a great look at it. And I thought we passed up 2 good looks, to be quite honest. But a good fight by our guys against a very good team on the road, second night of a back-to-back. And again, it's a broken record. I've got to get it's not all on me. We've got to get the defense figured out because we have a chance to be good.
That was the next question, Coach, because you had to get some type of play on that inbounds, which you did, and you did get the steal. And I guess the question is, there was a lot of pass and nobody got a shot up, and that was really frustrating. How frustrating was it for you?
Yeah, it was frustrating, I mean, to see guys pass up shots who worked hard to get themselves in that position and everything else. So I thought the best look we had was Lonzo's. He knows it. And, he was 6 for 10 from 3 tonight. Would have liked to have seen that one gone up. But, hey, that's really easy to say sitting where you guys do watching TV and where I do standing on the bench. We're all standing there watching, and it's easy to say that should have happened. And he will tell you that should have happened, but it's a little tougher when you're out there in real time against NBA players flying around and stuff. And so I'm not going to fault him on that. He's playing outstanding basketball. Wouldn't have had a shot in this game if it wasn't for him. So, just a mistake, and hopefully we learn from it and move on and do a better job on Saturday night.
Hey, Stan, Christian Clark here. You guys go down 8 with, I think, 8:23 to go, and then, you fight back into the game on the second night or back-to-back. I mean, did you like just your team's fight in this game?
I did. I was proud of our guys. Listen, I mean, so much of what we do in sports is, we magnify the good and the bad based on the result. And in a one-possession game, it's like, Boston makes one more shot and it's a loss, and what we're talking about is the fact that we've gotten a big hole down 24. But because they don't and we win, we talk about how hard we come back. And tonight it's sort of the opposite story. Now the story is we passed up shots on the last possession, and I'm not talking about your guys' story. I'm talking about even ours, right? And we didn't score in the last 2 minutes. If we make that shot, we're talking about our character and our heart. I mean, it's all whether the ball goes in or not, and it's sort of crazy. So to me, I felt about our guys tonight pretty much the same as I felt about them after the Boston game, quite honestly. Really proud of them. Our defense wasn't as good as it was, say, down the stretch in the Boston game. But in terms of fighting and staying in a really competitive game, yeah, really proud of our guys. Again, tonight, I'm not going to let, one bucket here or there change the way I look at what they did.
Yeah, you mentioned just the reaction to that Phoenix game, and obviously you don't get the result you wanted tonight, but do you feel like things are starting to move in the right direction where you wanted to go since that game?
Well, we've played better. Listen, I think the mistake that players, coaches, fans, media, everybody makes is when you start thinking like you turned the corner, right? Things like that. There's no corners. There's no corners and there's no track. It's just one long-ass grind is what it is. And in that, just like when you're running a marathon, there's going to be ups, the hills, and downhills, and that's the way it goes. And so it's about, hopefully what we're learning is you got to bring it every night, no matter who you're playing, to give yourselves a chance. It's got to be that kind of approach. As soon as you think like, okay, we've got it now, we've arrived, somebody will humble you very quickly and make it very clear that you have not arrived. And so for us, it's just next game. Learn from what happened, next game. And there's going to be ups and downs the whole way, and we've got to continue to fight and get better. And the main thing is we got to find answers at the defensive end of the floor. That's incumbent on me, and it's incumbent on them in terms of what they bring to the floor defensively.
Hey, Stan, Andrew from ESPN. Obviously, it's a tough game. You guys had to finish off Detroit last night. Do you think fatigue played any part in that fourth quarter, or your guys slowing down maybe just a little bit?
You never know. If fatigue played a part. We were tired. I think they were tired too, for that matter. Guys played a lot of minutes, so you never know on that. You can guess, but had our guys been able to sit down longer in the fourth quarter or something last night, would it have helped tonight? I don't know. There's just no way of knowing on that. Like you said, it's not like we collapsed in the fourth quarter due to fatigue, right? We held them to 22 points in the fourth quarter, and we were down and came back and took the lead. So it's really hard to point to fatigue and things like that. We had opportunities, and we either passed up the opportunity or missed shots. It was just one of those games. They made a couple more plays than we did.
Yeah, hey, Stan, Doug at WWL TV. The minute and a half left, you're down one, and Zion makes that drive, and Brook Lopez blocks his shot, and there's no call. Zion looked visibly frustrated on that one. Could you talk about that play, what you saw on it, and were you okay with the no call?
Well, I think, it's really interesting to me. I know I'm biased. There's no question. It's your own player, you're biased. But I've been watching all year, and the guy gets fouled on 3/4 of his drives. And so he's got 34 points tonight. He didn't make a three. All of his points are in the paint, and he shot 5 free throws. I'm not buying that. I'm just not buying that. He doesn't, and he hasn't been at it as long, and he doesn't quite get the same calls that Giannis gets. So on a particular play, I can't tell you till I watch the film on a particular play. But man, he was going at the basket a lot, and there were no calls. So yeah, that's frustrating to everybody. They didn't have a foul in the fourth quarter. So, they didn't have a foul in the fourth quarter. Great job by them, to go 12 minutes in a tightly contested game and not foul anybody.
Hey, Stan, it's Rachel. That was very diplomatic, by the way.
Trying to save money, Rachel, trying to save money.
The bigger picture question for you. Just now that you've had a few months here under your belt, what's different about coaching this team this time around than the previous teams you've coached?
Well, you know what, Rachel? That's really hard to say, because what's really different is just the whole situation in the NBA. This year is just beyond description. It's all about COVID, and there's no fans, and there's so many restrictions on the road. The schedule's so condensed. These guys are exhausted. I'm not just talking about our guys. Everybody. There's no release because you can't do anything. It's just everything is different. So if it were a more normal year, I might be able to give you an answer in terms of coaching and basketball. But quite honestly, this whole thing is, I have a lot of respect for the players in the league. Certainly for our guys, I see every day what they go through. Here's what last night was. So we end the game at 9, a little after 9. They have to COVID test then. Now we fly to Milwaukee and get into the hotel. They have to COVID test at 2 a.m. And we got here before then. So they had to wait and COVID test at 2 a.m. because, look, you never know in 5 hours what might have happened, somebody being infected. So they had to COVID test at 2 a.m. Then they had to get up and do the rapid test between 11 and 11:30 this morning so that we could have a 1 o'clock walkthrough. And then they come over. So they tested 3 times within 15 hours. very hard to sleep and everything. And again, I'm not making an excuse because every team in the league's going through this.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying out of respect for the players, so we could have a walkthrough. Then they try to get a little nap. Now they play a game. They got to test again. I mean, I'm glad we can fit a little bit of basketball into this COVID testing league.
Thank you, Stan.
Okay,
Nice to
Rachel.
see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
And you mentioned all the shots Zion took in the paint tonight. I'll give it the positive spin and ask you: have you seen anything quite like his ability to generate so many shots directly at the rim? I mean, you look at his shot chart, and it's just a whole bunch of green dots right around the rim. Have you seen anything quite like that before?
I mean, the closest would probably be Giannis, right? I mean, he gets a lot of shots at the rim too. Now he's shooting a few more jumpers, but he didn't early on. I mean, Giannis has been at this a lot longer than Zion has. So I would think he would be the closest comparison of a non-center anyway of what goes on. So I didn't think that I did a great job tonight of finding ways in the second half to generate more offense for him. So I got to take a look at that. But yeah, he did a great job, and then Brandon came alive in the second half. Even though he was struggling from three, he came alive on his other shots, and we had some good offensive moments tonight. We just couldn't stop them. And that's a broken record, and a lot of people haven't been able to stop them, but we certainly couldn't tonight.
Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, everybody, we can get started. Andrew Lopez, you want to take us off?
Hey, Z. I know I'm not going to ask you about the specific foul itself. But do you feel like it takes time to build up, I guess, getting respect from referees to get calls in the NBA?
Man, I think it takes time. I guess in the unwritten rules, yeah, and I'm okay with that. It's all in the game. But until then, I just got to figure out different ways to attack and stay aggressive. That's all I can say regarding that. Because all I want to do is win, and just whatever I can to do that, I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, you mentioned before, every time you guys get into one of these situations where the game comes down to the last few minutes, it's kind of an opportunity for you guys to learn. I guess, what's the lesson you take away from this game?
We had so many opportunities at the end. Made a few shots and then we missed some. And I think at the end of the game, I think everyone was so unselfish, and everyone knew we had 14 seconds left to make a play that just kind of got the best of us on that one. But like I said, the more and more we're in those situations, just learn from it. That's the best thing you can do from that.
Hey, Zion, Christian Clark here. We saw after that game you swapped jerseys with Giannis. What is it that you admire about Giannis's game and just his approach to things?
I respect Giannis because every year he improves. Even after coming off a back-to-back MVP, he's still finding ways to improve his game and do things for his team to help them win. That's what I ultimately respect about him. And he's going to stay true to who he is and being a competitor. So I got nothing but respect for him.
Yeah, hey, Zion, this is Doug at WWL TV. The play with a minute and a half left when Brook Lopez blocks and there's no call, you looked visibly frustrated on the court. Was this one of the more frustrating games for you? Were you a little angrier during this one than maybe some of the other ones?
My frustrations within those situations, it doesn't come from, the foul not being called, or who knows. I haven't even looked at the film. Maybe it wasn't a foul. Maybe he went vertical on it. I'm never going to try to tell a ref how to do his job. It's just, I'm not like that. I never will be like that. But the frustration within me that shows is, I want to do whatever I can to help my team win, so that when a situation happens, when I do mess up, I'm frustrated at myself because, I wanted to be there for my teammates and I didn't want to let them down. That's where the frustration is being. That's what frustration is being shown.
Hey Zion, it's Rachel. You mentioned Giannis keeps adding to his game. I feel like every time I look up, you're getting a more complete game yourself. What do you think you've developed this season so far that you're most kind of proud of your work on?
It keeps going back to my teammates and my coaches, trusting me to go out there and be me, being a offense initiator, like coming off pick and rolls, being able to make the reads, and, also just the more and more I play in the NBA, the easier it gets for me to make reads against the defense, and just adjusting to playing in the NBA just gets easier to read for me.
When you look back to where you started to now, how far do you feel like you've come?
I feel like I've come a long way, definitely. And if you know me, the direction I want to go in is winning. So still have some ways to achieve that.
Thanks.
Yeah, going back to that first quarter, you and Lonzo were able to connect on a couple of those plays where y'all are just able to read each other in the moment and just make something happen. How much does it add to your game to have a point guard where you have that kind of connection with him, where y'all can just kind of, look at each other and make that play in the instant?
Me and Lonzo, our games complement each other's so well that, like you said, there are times when me and Lonzo are just playing basketball out there. Whether it's him passing and chasing, me setting the screen, him coming to set the screen for me. We complement each other so well, and then at the same time when we're out there, we're both giving each other confidence, like telling each other shoot, that we trust each other to make the right decision within the situation. So regarding that, I think we just compliment each other well. We give each other confidence.
All right, thanks, Z. Appreciate your time.
No problem. You guys have a good night.
All right, everybody, get your hands up for BI. Will Gilroy, you can go ahead.
What's up, yeah? I asked Z a similar question, but you know, every time you guys get into one of these late game situations, is an opportunity to learn for this young group. I guess what's the kind of the lesson you take away from this game and what you saw in those last few minutes?
Well, I think the lesson I learned in this game is just time and score. I'm usually aware of a lot of things and going on during the game, but I think just at the end of the game, just having a sense of urgency on that offensive end and of what we need on the basketball floor. And I think at the end of the game, we needed a three. And I drove the basketball, and DiVincenzo stepped up and he took a charge. And, of course, we needed a three. So I think that's what I learned tonight, just time and score and just having a sense of urgency at all times.
I know it's easy to sit here and nitpick it now, but I mean, what would you have done differently there at the end if you could have had it back?
Well, first I would have told Zoe to shoot the basketball. But second, I would have told I should have shot the basketball. If he passed me the basketball, he has trust in me to make the right play. So I just would have made the right play, and I would have believed in myself and just shot the basketball.
I know where you're kind of focused on the end, but like when you guys went down 8 with 8 minutes to go, you got back into that game. I mean, did you like the way you guys just competed there against a good team in the second half of the back-to-back?
Yeah, I mean, we compete to a level, especially with the better teams in the NBA. We feel like we can stick with them and we can beat some of these teams. So I love the way we compete and play up to the level that we're supposed to every time that we come in and we play these guys. But of course, we would love to win. We love to win.
Thanks, BI, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looks like we're for zone. Will, you want to go ahead?
What did you just see on that last possession, and what do you think you guys would have done if you could have that one back?
I mean, we did what we were supposed to do. We got the steal. I should have just shot the ball. That's really all it comes down to.
Lonzo, looking at that game as a whole, you and Zion connected on a lot of baskets there. You know, you said in the past that that connection, like, it was kind of there from day one. Just where do you feel like, that, I guess, like, on the court bond is right now between you guys?
I mean, Z's a great player. He makes my game easy, whether it's in the pick and roll or, getting out in transition, catching lobs. So, he can finish in a lot of different ways, and my job is pretty much just to get him the ball.
Hey, so do you think fatigue played any part in tonight's game? You guys played a tough game against Detroit, and then it was a very hard-fought game tonight. Do you think that played a part at all?
No. I think it was a hard-fought game that we came up short on.
All right, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.